Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep you long. And I know, there was not a lot of time on this one, but it just hit the news. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Give me a one if you can hear me. Well, I had myself on mute. That's why you didn't hear any audio, but I'm not on mute anymore. Give me a one if you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Edward Cagney Mathews, here in New Jersey, where I am, made a court appearance and he did plead guilty. So we're going to go over the story. So just in case you don't remember who this dude is, but I believe there are certain people, their racism is so over the top, you just don't forget who they are. So let me play this reminder for you. Okay, I have no idea to why it's not playing, but that's okay. We don't need this. We don't need this for me to go over the story. We certainly don't. So let me just put the picture back up. Okay. Now, if you don't remember Edward Cagney Mathews, he's a man from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and I'm very familiar with Mount Laurel. I used to work over there. And he was literally racially harassing the people all around him. And it got so out of control. And plus, he was in cahoots with the police officers, and those officers don't have his back anymore. They're so mad at him, that they had his back at one point in time, not anymore. So let's go over what happened today in court to him. Mount Laurel man pleads guilty to bias intimidation after racist rant went viral. So this occurred back in 2021. Many of you might remember I did several videos on Edward Mathews, and it literally went viral and made nationwide news. And it was also brought out how the courts and the police department in Mount Laurel just let this guy off the hook way too easy over the years. Edward Mathews, he's had a criminal record since he was a teenager. He was doing burglaries when he was a teenager and drug dealing. It's like a whole laundry list, and racially intimidating neighbors and vandalizing cars and homes, and it's all kinds of crap. This guy got a rap sheet longer than your body. So, a Burlington County man who was charged with harassing and using racial slurs against his black neighbors pled guilty to bias intimidation. It should be hate crime charges on this dude. There should be hate crime charges. Edward Mathews, 47, he looks horrible for 47, don't he? Sparked outrage in his Mount Laurel community more than 2 years ago when video of his racist rant went viral. Now, even if he got out of jail, y'all, he can't go back over there to live. That condo that he was living in belonged to his ex wife, and she has since sold it since he's been in jail. So he would never, ever be able to go back to that same community, even if he got out. Okay, so Matthews was taken into custody after dozens of protesters surrounded his home. Well, his stupid butt caused that. After he was trying to mess with an elderly I think this was an interracial couple, and it was an African man that intervened and tried to block him. He dared people to come out to where he was, and people showed up. They rolled up on his butt, and you could tell it took him by surprise. Next thing you know, he was on the media apologizing. But by then, the big, large crowds were outside of his condo. They were right there. Along with bias intimidation, prosecutors said Mathews also pled guilty to a drug offense. As part of the plea deal, which I don't believe he should have gotten, he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. So he got a ways to go. I mean, they'll probably count the time that he's been in there as time served. So that would mean 6 years behind bars, 6 more years. And in my opinion, that was not long enough. There is no way, with all of the vandalizing and breaking people's windows and using racial slurs and just being a menace to that community, that he should have been able to slip away from getting hate crime charges. I still say those charges should be put on him. So the way I see it, he got off easy. 8 years. He should have gotten way more than that. This man barged into people's homes, kicked in doors of his neighbors. He kicked people's doors in. So no, like I said, he got an easy deal on this one. So it's done, y'all. There's not going to be any court dates for him. It's over. Not unless he appeals. He could appeal. I'm sure, he just might. So I know where he's jailed. He's jailed probably less than, I would say, probably about a good 15 miles from where I am. I know where he is. Trust me, all that mess he said in that community, he ain't hardly saying it to them brothers up in that jail. He ain't saying all that mess. He ain't running his mouth like that up in the Burlington County jail where he is. That's where his butt is. Mhm. Let's just hope they get a hold of his butt. So, y'all, that is the update. I've been waiting for his court date, and I thought they were going to, at least announce it locally, and they never did. I mean, this court date today, they just kind of did it without the public even knowing. And I think they did not, the courts and the police department got dragged badly on how many times they let this guy off for crimes that he was committing. And I guess they just didn't want the publicity anymore because it was just so bad on them. So they just did this court appearance without very many people in the public even knowing about it. But the story is out there, y'all. So please like the video, share the video, and get the word out. This piece of trash is in jail at least for the next 6 years. So he's been in there since 2021. So 6 more years, and he probably won't even have to do the whole 6 years, y'all. He probably won't even have to do the whole 6 years. I don't even be surprised if you hear about him getting out in the next 3 years. They're slick like that when it comes down to people like him. But from what I understand, he's not allowed to live in that community ever again. He can't move there on his own. He can't do none of that stuff. Well, yeah. I mean, they can lay hands on him behind bars, I'm sure. I'm sure, because isn't it the only thing they get to watch on TV is the news Oh, I'm sure they saw his butt on the news. Yeah, this thing made nationwide news. It was even on mainstream news. It wasn't just local. So I'm not going to hold you any longer. And I am sorry. When 1:30 came, I had a massive headache and I kind of laid down and relaxed and I missed my live stream. So I rescheduled it for 8 o'clock. So y'all need to return for the one I'm doing on Tyler Perry. And that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. So y'all come and make sure you're here at 8 o'clock. I will definitely be here. I won't forget. Shalom, family.